Hello and welcome to another episode of Battle Ready. Ready.
Yeah.
Where today we thought we'd discuss getting into Age of Sigmar, specifically getting into Age of Sigmar now that a lot of Warscrolls are paywalled, right? It used, well, in second edition, all Warscrolls were free. And I think in first edition that's true too, although we weren't playing then. So all Warscrolls were free, which was great because you could sort of look up and, the battle traits and stuff weren't always free. But the Warscrolls were, so you could sort of look at everybody and be like, oh, this army does these cool things. This army does these cool things. Then they started not doing that so much into third edition. And then in the fourth edition, they made all the indexes free, the indices. But every time we get a battle tome now, they close off the Warscrolls. So first of all, I think that's terrible. I mean, I think it's really, really bad. I don't know why they do it. What do you think?
Just because more monies.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the thinking behind it. I think they probably think, oh, well, we want to, this way they have to buy a battle tome to get our rules, right? But I don't know if it's true. Because just as an example, when we were getting into Age of Sigmar back in second edition, one of the things that made me sort of pull the trigger and say, all right, we're going to jump into this. There were a lot of things, right? I wanted to play with my son. We thought the models were cool, right? So there wasn't any one aspect. But one of the things that helped me was I looked at it and I thought, oh, well, here's some Warscrolls. Okay, I can sort of see what these guys are. Okay, now I know who I think I should buy to be good for the game that I want to play, right? I know what units I think look cool and what units will be fun on the battlefield. And if I didn't have that, I don't know that I would have jumped in. There's a lot of other games where, the games are fun enough, right? And where the models are cheaper. That's basically all other games. Right? Or you can use your own models, right? They don't have a model line. You just use your own models. And then you get the rules, and the rules are super cheap. So if I wanted to get all the Warscrolls, it's the cost of a PDF online or something. So I feel like, gosh, by paywalling those Warscrolls, you're probably chopping off some people that would otherwise jump in, right? They look at it, they see that it's cool. Maybe they even try it a little bit, and then they realize, okay, I want to do the real thing. So I don't think it's a good decision. Just for certainly doesn't help the player base. But I just think it probably is more counterproductive to making money than letting the free Warscrolls. Now, I say that I don't run a business, or a models business anyway. I don't run any, so maybe they've done the research. Maybe they know that they actually make more money this way. Okay. But it seems to me to be a little counterintuitive, right? Because if you have a friend who, let's say you have a friend that wants to play, right? And they're like, what army should I play? It would be nice to say, oh, here's where you go to look up the Warscrolls. You can sort of see what abilities you think are cool and go from there, right?
Yeah.
And for them but now you sort of have to say, well, shell out $60 for a battle tome, and that will tell you what you can shell out money for to buy. Right? It's like, it's a hard sell. That's a difficult one. So now that we're in that situation, how does a new person, assuming they want to get into AOS, right? Because there's other games they can get into. Assuming they want to get into the AOS, how do they do it? One thing, sorry, just to say real quick, is we're not going to talk about so much how to get into the hobby in general, like what hobby tools you need and stuff like that. That's been covered a lot by other people. Although sometimes they tell you don't need very much, and then they list off like 37 things to get before you start. And it's like, I don't think that's really how it goes. In reality, to start in the hobby, there's like 3 things you need, and then you can sort of accumulate a little bit over time until you have a great setup. You don't need to buy everything at the beginning. But that's beside the point. So how do people get in now? Spearhead. All right.
Pick the cool toys. You play with the cool toys. You see if their Warscrolls are good because they translate to AOS fairly well.
Yeah, I think Spearhead is really the saving grace in this discussion.
It's a marketing scheme to get you to buy Spearhead.
Oh, and that's like, we can't let the Warscrolls be free. They won't buy Spearhead. Yeah, I think the Spearhead, though, is really, really good because for a relatively inexpensive price, it's still more expensive than a lot of, more expensive than tic-tac-toe, right?
Tic-tac-toe, you need nothing.
Right.
You need a stick and some dirt.
I'm just saying. But but there's fewer models, right? So if you're getting into AOS, it's like you've got less to build. You've got less to paint, right? It's not as daunting as like collecting a whole army. It's self-contained, right? So once you buy it, you've got your thing. You don't have to say, oh, I want a little bit of this unit. I think I want 2 of this unit. And I think I want, that takes a lot of planning. And that the list building can be super fun, but not if you're just getting into it, right? And you're right that it plays the game of AOS.
But tiny.
Right. But it goes through all the phases, right?
Yeah.
You have your hero phase. You've got your movement. It takes you through all the steps. You do combat the exact same way. You do movement the exact same way. And then, like you said, all of the Warscrolls pretty much translate over to 2K, right? There are some differences for sure. But your clan rats, the way your clan rats act in Spearhead, pretty close to how they're going to be in 2K.
Except they get bigger.
Yeah, except you get more rats. Your Seraphon, what are the warriors called? Are they just Seraphon warriors? Saurus warriors. Your Saurus warriors, how they act in Spearhead, pretty close. Pretty close to how they're going to be in the full game.
Just more of them. And
I like it because let's say you get blades of corn, right? You're like, okay, I want to be corn. Corn's gonna be so cool.
Brass
and then you build it up, you paint it, you get it ready, and then you put it on the table, and you're like, oh, well, this doesn't play quite the way I was hoping it would be different. 2 things. One, hey, you didn't spend $1 zillion and get 2,000 points worth, right? Just to find out you hate painting them or you hate the way they play, right? So that's good. And 2, even if it turns out you're like, not my favorite, you still have a Spearhead force, right? It's not like you figured that out 800 points into your army and now you've got basically nothing. Right? It's like with 800 points,
you got nothing.
You got nothing you can play with. You got some stuff you can put on a shelf maybe, or hopefully sell. Right? You can try to sell it to somebody, but you got nothing that's gonna be playable. And whereas in Spearhead, at least you've got that Spearhead force. Yeah. And hey, if you don't like it, then you go to the next one. Then you buy Idnet Deepkin, and you put that together. Hey, you've got 2 forces, so you can talk to a friend. Yeah. All right. What else? How else could somebody start if rather than just buying Spearheads blindly? Because even though they're cheaper than the 2K game, they're still expensive enough that you don't want to throw down that much money on a maybe. Yeah. So what else?
You talk to a friend.
Oh, see, I think that's the overlooked thing. It's like you need to ask for advice. Now, you have to take that advice with a grain of sand because people have opinions. And those opinions...
It's salt, not sand.
Yeah, that too. With salt and bone. But yeah, because sometimes people think like, oh, well, I'm going to recommend a Spearhead for beginners because like, what do you call those guys? The ogres, because they play more straightforward. But what if I'm a kind of player? What if I've played a lot of Magic? What if I've played a lot of D&D? What if I'm a gamer? And so I don't want to play the straightforward walk and punch people. That's not what I think is fun. I think something that's got a little more finesse to it is fun. And so I'm going to go over and buy ogres and then be disappointed, right? So I think when you're asking, you need to ask like, well, how do they play? Have somebody explain to you. It's like, well, how do the ogres play? How does Khorne play? How does the Soul Blight play, right? And so that way they can tell you, oh, with Soul Blight, you get a couple of powerful things, a lot of nonsense stuff, but the nonsense stuff keeps coming back over and over and over. So you're winning that attrition war. And so some people are going to see that and say, oh, heck yeah, that sounds fun. I would love to do that. Just endless hordes, throw them at my opponent. And some people are going to hear that and say, I really want like mad, strong guys that are really strong on the tabletop.
Iron
Yeah, and then you
Jaws.
say, okay, well, we got Iron Jaws, we've got Stormcast, we've got
Ogres.
slaves, right? Like armored warriors that are going to stomp down the battlefield. Maybe that's what they want to play, right? And then the other thing I think is really good is I think it's important to emphasize to people, find the models you think are cool.
Rule of cool.
The rule of cool is such a real thing. You know, I think a lot of people that come from outside wargaming, you know, I did a lot of, like I said, a lot of Magic, a lot of board games, other kind of games. And it's very common to say, all right, well, especially if I'm going to put down the kind of money that it costs to get into Warhammer, I want to pick something that's powerful.
Yeah.
I want to pick something that's going to be good. So, you know, don't tell me to buy the army that everyone knows sucks. That said, there's not at the casual level anyway. Not if you're in the tournament scene, that might be totally different. But at the casual level where everyone's just having fun playing Warhammer, you know, everything's sort of relatively balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think there's any huge spikes one way or the other. And where there have been, like maybe in the Slaves to Darkness or the Ogres Spearheads,
yeah,
they've taken steps to, you know, tone that down a little bit, which has been really, really good. And I think they're both in a much better place.
For sure.
So and plus whatever's super powerful right now, because they're, you know, interested in toning that down, if you buy the most powerful thing, you're likely to catch a nerf before you're even done building and painting it.
Yeah.
Right. And then plus when the next edition comes out, who knows? Yeah, exactly.
GW does.
I don't think they know. I don't think they know. But who knows? Because that unit that you have now that does some kind of trick that you think is super cool, next edition might not have that ability. Mm-hmm. It's gone. Great example is Caradron, right? Mm. With the Index, in this edition, they had this whole retreat or redeploy. And you move all your guys behind your bow, and you got all kinds of shenanigans you can do with that. And then the Battle Tome comes out, even within the same edition.
Nukes that.
Gone. That is just not a thing they can do anymore, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's like if you get attached to the rules,
bad idea.
You're probably going to be it's only a matter of time before you're going to be disappointed. What you need to be attached to is the models, or the theme of the army. Yeah. Right. The feel of it. Because if you like Iron Jaws, you like Iron Jaws.
I do like Iron Jaws.
If you like Iron Jaws, I think it doesn't super matter the exact stats of a Mega Boss or of Broods or of Ard Boys. It's just so long as they feel like you're playing Iron Jaws. They all should feel like you want to get stuck in, you want to have a scrap, you want to be up in people's faces. And now they might represent that in a number of different ways, but that's what you want. You want to have that feeling when you play, right? Whereas another army, you might want to have a lot of, like Daughters of Cain, right? You might want to say, all right, I just want to be the glass cannon, right? I want to hit you so hard, and in return, I just know that I don't have the ability to take a punch. Yeah, and that's cool by me. I will take that. It's like playing a wizard, right? I will cast the fireball, and if you get in my fireball range, you will burn to a cinder. But if you come up behind me when I'm not looking, what kind of armor does your wizard wear? He wears clothes. He's got clothing armor. It's got a t-shirt.
That spells nerd, but I cast big knife.
So yeah, I think that's probably the two most important things. And that's when you're asking people, if you don't know anything about AOS and you go to the shop and you ask a friend about it, or you find somebody there who's playing and you ask them about it, that's really what you want to know. Yeah. Like, show me some cool models, and then how does the army play? Like, what's its high level, what's its general style? And if it's a general style that you like and you think the models are cool, that one's probably safe. And then I would basically always start with Spearhead. Right? That will give you a good sense of playing the game. That will give you a good sense of how actual units operate. And then from there, you can get the Battle Tome, you can start list build, you can accumulate a little at a time from there. But I think with the Paywalled Warscrolls, that's your best bet. Yeah. Find out what looks cool. Find out what has a basic play style that you like. Get that Spearhead. and then build up from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Now, I think having Warscrolls be free and available would be better. And I think Games Workshop should really rethink their current policy. But if given what we have now, I think that's the way to go.
For sure.
Any final thoughts?
Got him.
All right. This has been another episode of Battle Ready.
Ready.
Thanks so much for watching.